Hello friends, my name is Doug and this is
Dale.
and welcome to not to Third Stall Garage, it's the Third Stall Garage channel, but today we are at Dale's garage.
There we are.
And there's Hendrick. And we realize it's been a little while since we've done an update, so we want to kind of bring you up to speed as to what's going on, and let you know kind of Hendrick's been resting and hibernating for the winter. And in a couple weeks, some big changes coming up for Hendrick. So we're gonna start getting ready for those today, and we're gonna fill you in a moment on what we're doing. So Hendrick's been in storage in the garage here since last fall. Dale's been traveling and seeing the country, and I've been doing other things. But in a few weeks, Hendrick is heading off to the body shop to get paint work done. And the body pan is going to be coming home with us in a couple weeks to Third Stall Garage for all kinds of work. Final paint, and then start reassembling all the tunnel structure and the engine and all of that good stuff. But we need to transport this to the body shop. So Dale, what are we doing today with the doors to get them ready for transport and paint?
You bet. So part of what we're going to do is we'll use the body cart that we made, months ago, and that's what the paint guys will put the body of the car on. And so we want to have the door braces in. So they'll be pulling the doors, they'll be painting those separate, and we want to do these door braces.
These are the pieces for the body cart, and those are the triangular door braces that we'll take the door out and put that in to rigid and stiffen the body.
When we made these, the door had a different shape. So it had, we did it, if you go way back in the videos or you've been watching the whole time, we did this and there was still more work to do. In the process of some of the work that we did on the front end, the door gap changed. So this no longer fits it perfectly. So the plan is we need to make it work with now our really great body gaps. And so we'll need to bolt it up, cut it, and weld it back, because it's not going to be that different.
Yeah.
But that way we give the paint guys a brace that's going to fit perfectly, and then they can have the door off and not worry that the convertible is going to fold in half on them. So
yeah,
that's the plan, is to get that ready. So so that we can transport that over, like I said, in a couple of weeks.
Okay, so doors are coming out. And we're gonna re-customize the braces to get them to fit, and then we'll be ready to ship it off to paint. Time for us to get to work. All right, we got two doors off. They're so nicely done. So we're taking super good care to not scratch them or dent them. All right, now it's time to see how closely these braces fit and or how far off they are. Okay, so you got the passenger side there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No. How?
Should be that way.
But then we have oh, I see, it slides in. How do we make this again?
Goes in here. I wonder if this one needs to go in first because it's kind of recessed in here. That's pretty good.
I was gonna say, it's not so bad.
Whoever made that must have done a good job.
Well, maybe when we tightened it up.
Do we need the shim in there, or?
Yeah, we could put the shim. There is a shim that goes, so.
Got a little bit of a gap there. Not much of a gap down here. All right, let's try putting bolts in, and don't tighten them up yet. But
yeah.
Okay, passenger side brace is in. Did not end up need to do any shimming. Unfortunately, this bolt started to cross thread a little bit. So we just had to carefully finesse that one back in, and it corrected itself. But this is all tight. Now we're moving on to the driver's side, which if either side's gonna be our nemesis, it's the driver's side. It's usually caused by the driver of the vehicle. This and that fit well, and you can see we've got quite a gap here. So this is in a little bit of a different shape than it was when we originally built this brace. So here's what I think we're gonna do. We've got a handful of washers, and there 2 washers is about the right gap to fill that up. So I brought my welder along, and I think we will tack weld 2 washers on there, and then maybe tap this with a hammer to close up that gap, and then we'll bind it together. I did bring my welder along because I didn't bring the gas cylinder with it. I had to switch it back over to the flux core welding. So we're going to use that, tap on these washers, and we'll give it a try again. Of course, running into a few challenges here. I welded on a set of washers there and a set of washers in the back there. That does its job of spacing this out. Unfortunately, it also does a job of, I have a weld right there below the tip of my finger, which creates kind of a fillet in between the square by square, or 1 by 1 square tubing and the flat piece of stock. But that weld, I think, is getting in the way and not allowing the brace to go further in, and we're having some alignment issues with those bolts. So I think I'm going to clean this out with a grinder, which will hopefully allow it to slide further in. So I cleaned off the inside of that weld, just got rid of a little bit of the fillet, and that seemed to do the majority of the trick, but not quite enough. And the challenge I'm running into now, the head of this bolt, it's just an old bolt I had from a blue car apparently project that I ground the integrated washer off of, so the head would fit through here. But the challenge is my hole's not drilled quite in the right location, and so instead of the bolt being centered in the hole, it's offset. And as I tighten it, it's gonna gouge this beautiful bodywork right here. So it was made worse by the fact that my not so pretty washer job, my washers are not perfectly on center in the hole either. So we're gonna get a drill bit and just drill those out just a touch larger. All right, they're in, nice and tight. 2 bolts to go. Let's watch Dale try to work backwards.
Yeah, totally.
I'm sure it'll go much better if we're all watching. You can do it, Dale. I believe in you.
Success.
Look at that, go nice and tight.
So next video should be, it'll be a couple of weeks, but next video should be us loading the bug onto the trailer. The reverse of what we did, whatever, 6 months ago.
Yep.
And bringing it to paint and then unbolting the body, picking it up. So I put the bumper braces on so we have some handles, if you will, to pick the body up, because we won't have the overhead lifts. And then that'll be at paint, and then we drive the chassis back and redo the whole chassis. So That'll be that'll pretty much be the next several months, is reworking the chassis, and we'll see what we learn
And
there.
then-
What could go wrong?
And then you've got some minor projects in terms of like just cleaning up a radio and the instrument cluster and
Assemble headlight buckets. Those are
Yeah.
things that we don't need the car for. So getting it as much together as we can, and with the hope that in the fall we'll marry a painted body onto a completed chassis that has an engine on it.
Yeah.
That'll be exciting. And then that'll have to store for the winter, because I think I'm kind of spoiled on winters now.
Sounds good. Okay, that's it. That's going to wrap up episode 69. Not a whole lot of work, but it's really just updating you on the story of Hendrick and where we are in the process, and just bringing you along for the journey. So we'll see you in the next episode. Have a great night.